how do you have a hook to get the audience attention?
Interesting. So I think again, I think even when you write content and even when you do anything, right? So I think the best thing would be to understand first is to start with like who is exactly your target audience, right? Because I know like a lot of founders, a lot of people, when they start writing, they are very broad. Even I was like super broad. I was trying to write for everyone, but then the main thing that was missing was that I was talking to everyone, and that is where I think the biggest challenge is. So the first thing I would always recommend anyone is to niche down and then figure out who are your actual target audience, who is the one that's going to be paying your bill, right? And whose problem I think you're connected with very much, right? So like and then once you define your target audience, then you know what exactly are the problems that they're going through and what is the possible solution that you can offer, right? Because not a problem it will never have one possible solution. There is going to be multiple possible solution, right? So figure that out first, and then once you figure that out, then I think you should be able to then go ahead and start writing, better, I would say, messaging, which also requires you to define your brand values, what exactly are the values that you want to have, and then what exactly is the positioning that you want to do for yourself, right? Because I think that's really important to define. And once you define that, then I would say that then start with a hook which basically connects with your audience, which is going to be the problem that they are facing with, right? So assuming that if you're saying that how to write something, that's never going to be connecting with your target audience, right? Because again, you're just passing on the information and not helping them. But if you're able to connect with them, like, how did I solve a problem for someone else, right? That's what basically going to be connecting with them. And again, the problem should be what problem that they are facing. So I would say that's what again, understanding your target audience and then understanding what are the problems that they go through, and then how exactly you're able to solve that problem is what's going to be hooking them to your content, to your videos, to your website or your product, right? So focus on that, and then every messaging that you target should be according to their problems, and then you should be able to get your user hooks to your product.
A memorable ending for impact.
So I think again, it's the same thing, right? So once you're able to identify your target audience clearly, you know what exactly is the end result for them, right? And the one thing that we usually do with most of the founders is that do ask them to do a idea validation, right? Which is where you're building a community, you're building your audience first rather than building the product, right? Because most of the product that you want to build, you're building it based on people problems, right? So like you definitely have to talk to them first and then understand what they are going through or what are the problems that they want to pay for, right? Because again, you can work on multiple problems, but if people are not willing to pay for it, then there is no startup, right? Because then you're not going to be making any money, and then you would just end up, shutting down the company. So the first thing that you need to do is to understand what are the problems, what problems they are willing to pay for, and then build something very small like a POC model, and then just to see whether it works for them, whether it connects with their problem, and if they're able to use that to solve their problem. And if not, then get that feedback loop going in, and then so that you can continue improving the product, and then show them every probably like like 2 3 weeks, to at least get some feedback. Once you're able to get that done, right? So once you're able to get that initial, I would say, testing done with your beta users, then you can go public, right? And this is basically what's going to drive that, impact. You still need to learn how to do marketing because again, building is very easy, but promoting your product is really important, right? So I think that's why again, it's important to define your ICP, what is the problem, how exactly you can reach out to them, how do you want to improve your messaging so that it connects with their problem, and then they are able to land on your website. That's what's going to be driving you more thing. And what I've also seen now, the latest trend has been it needs to be founder-led marketing, right? So I think it's more like what people talk about is the UGC, like, showing on TikTok, coming on TikTok, promoting yourself, being active on social media. So having that founder-led marketing is going to help a lot. So I would say that that's going to also, again, in the end, going to drive a lot more impact to both you as well as your product. So I think it's really important to start with your first is understanding your audience, their problem, and then becoming more a marketing person, because you will drive more, I would say, people than, a random ad on Facebook.
How to adjust body language to portray confidence.
The body language is just about your energy, right? I think I've seen people are like, may have a different opinion, but like just being that energetic person, I think is gonna portray more confidence. And how to be energetic is just by, like smiling, right? I think be confident in terms of like what you're doing, and it's okay. I mean, again, you need to be a natural person, right? Don't try to act, someone else that you are, and just be what you are. Understand that you have limitations. You may not be want to talk to everyone, but whenever you talk to people, I think just like make sure that you show that confidence in your in your energy, as well as just like keep that smile on your face, right? It's going to be easy, right? Once you are able to just like be yourself and then talk to people. Yeah.
Storytelling techniques in your pitching.
Storytelling technique in your pitching would be again focusing more on, as I said, like who figure out like who exactly is going to be your character in your story, and then tell the story from that person point of view. So the focus again is again you need to identify your person, your target audience, or like your that one ICP who you want to focus on, and then build a narrative or story around that person, right? And then that's going to help you when you do a pitching in your even in your pitch deck. I think that can also be implemented.
Questions to engage their interest.
Uh, I mean, again, most, as I said, like if you're pitching to users, it's different. If you're pitching to investors, it's different. So again, if you are looking to pitching to users, I think again, same thing, right? Like what exactly are their problems? What are the benefits that they will be getting in it? Because in the end, everyone is going to ask the same question, right? What's in it for me, right? So you should be able to answer those questions. And again, for us, we are also building a fitness platform, right? So it's already like a two phase platform, right? So you have users and then you also have trainers. These are two different target audience, which I don't recommend, I would say, because I think you should always focus on one target audience. But marketplace is always like two side, right? So in that case, I think when I'm pitching to users, it's going to be very different. When I'm pitching to users, it's going to be about what benefit they will be getting. Like they are struggling with their problems, they are struggling with weight loss, so how exactly this platform is going to help them to find like a curated trainers, right? And then when it comes to trainers, the messaging is going to be different, right? Like, hey, you know what? We have verified clients who are actually looking for good trainers, right? So we want to onboard you on a platform so that you can list your service on the platform. But if it's going to be investors, I will not be talking about anything about this, right? I'll be talking about what exactly is going to be what is the volume, what is the traction that we're getting, what is the future market, how exactly things are going. And again, since we are also going to be more like a virtual, online training, right? Everyone is becoming more online. So, and I've talked to a lot of trainers. That's what also they recommend, that they usually prefer to do it online. And then again, use that as the thing. So again, different target audience, different messaging, and different way of doing it. And only when you know like who are your target audience, you will be able to customize your approach of your pitches, and then that's going to help you get the result that you want.
How do you handle difficult questions during the pitch?
I mean, again, there are like multiple ways to handle difficult question. One is that again, if you don't know the answer, that's okay, right? Because you will fail, thousands of pitches before you get one success, right? So I think that's you should learn from that. Take that as a question, right? If it's a question that you are not aware of, take a note of that question. Make sure that you have a clear answer for that in the next round of the pitch that happens, right? Because everyone probably is going to ask the same question, right? So I think you'll also have to like, I mean, again, with now with AI tools and all, you can also do that. I would say you can ask your AI to act as a investor, right, and ask those questions, right? So list on all this question that you are you believe that the investors or your target audience may ask, right? And then try to create like a good answer that you feel it's going to be. So I think there's a I would say a preparation that also needs to happen before you pitch. And then there's also going to be, when you're actually doing pitching, there might be a very new kind of question that may come up, which probably even you may not be aware of, right? So you need to list those down and then handle this question. And again, to be honest, like I've seen is that sometimes if you don't know the answer, you should be okay to just say that I don't have the answer at the moment, right? And then I'll probably be able to get back to you on this one. That should be the very easy answer to give. But don't try to like fake it, because when you fake it, people know that you're just faking the answer, just by using like words, from textbooks kind of like answer. So if you don't know the answer, I would say be confident to just say that, sorry, I'm not aware of this question at the moment, and I'll be able to, get back more details uh, to you shortly, right? So be in that confident, and again, that confidence is also going to be showing, how exactly you deal with your, day-to-day operation. So that will help investor have more confidence in you also. Right. So don't try to fake it, but learn from those questions, and then be prepared for those kind of question next time.
How do you deal with nerves when you're pitching?
And again, same thing. Like nerves is you will be scared when you pitch for the first time. You will be confused in terms of like what exactly people will ask, or what exactly people will judge you for. So, and that's what gets to your nerve, right? I think it's usually mostly like self-inflicted, and not like, like people from outside, right? So you need to basically first, you know, be prepared. That's what it is. I think before your pitch happens, start working, start preparing. Again, work with AI, to list all those questions. Be prepared. I think being prepared is what helps you to be, not nervous when you're pitching, right? And again, you may forget, right? So again, understand this, that it's going to happen, and you will, even though you know the answer, by heart, or you know this answer even with your experience, you're going to forget, right? Because people, even like experienced people, fail interviews, right? So that should not be the case. So just like focus on what you have learned so far. And if you don't know anything, like just like be upfront. I think, and be confident, right? And your confidence is going to anyways increase, every single pitch that you give, right? So it's scary at first, but once you reach your, like, I would say like fifth or sixth or seventh pitch, you will be like super confident after that, right? Because you have already heard 10,000 questions, you've already heard multiple opinion about your thing. You probably have already been shouted, like insulted, like this is like the worst idea ever, right? But once you get that as a, like once you start doing it again and again and again, it becomes a habit, right? And then you become more confident, and then by the, I would say, 10th pitch, you might be like super confident to even tackle any kind of question that come across to you. Yeah.